In today's episode, Audrey asks, what are your best content curation tips, strategies, and methods? Content curation is one of those things that it can be incredibly time consuming. When I used to work in an agency, I used to watch humans doing content curation and spending an enormous amount of time on the task. I mean, I saw people who were spending, 3 to 4 hours a day putting together content curation calendars for clients and things like that. And that's just too much time on a task that is relatively low value. It is important to have great content to be able to share it so that you're constantly keeping the best of the best in front of your audience. That, no one argues that. But manually doing it, at least doing the everything beginning to end, is an incredibly poor use of your time, frankly. So how do you get around this? I automate my content curation because I didn't like a lot of what was on the market, or quite frankly, as a startup, we couldn't afford the $5,000 a month Rolls-Royce tools that are out there. Selecting content worth sharing doesn't have to be laborious. You basically need software or techniques, or both, really, for 3 tasks. Number 1, you need to identify content sources you can trust. Now, that is probably where people run into trouble in the beginning. It's just like, what do I just Google for stuff? And so services like Feedly and Pocket can help you at least surface topically relevant publications in your industry so that you start to see what you should be reading. The same is true of Reddit. Reddit is a fantastic source, if there's a subreddit for your industry, of seeing what articles and things people are sharing from, again, major publications in your industry. And what you do is you put together that long list of all those publications. I typically have 1,500 or so for the marketing and data science universe, because there are that many blogs out there. Second, you need a method, an automated method for determining what content is relevant to your brand. So out of those 1,500 blog posts or whatever, or thousands of blog posts, even something simple as a piece of code that reads each post and identifies just keywords that you want to be paying attention to: machine learning, data science, artificial intelligence, Google Analytics, predictive analytics, web analytics, all these things that my company cares about. Those are things that I want to be able to find in these articles. And, you can use very advanced, if you want, natural language software and things. You don't need to. I mean, just a bag of words count. Like, hey, this article mentions Google Analytics 24 times. It's probably about Google Analytics, right? Something very, very simple like that is an easy way to count up, okay, which article should we be paying attention to? Ideally, your code, your software, also measures things like social shares, click-throughs on the article, SEO metrics, so that you get a really good mix of, this is a relevant article and this is an article that already has some momentum for being shared. So that's the second stage. The third stage is summarizing it quickly, and this is where, again, you need a piece of software that can go into your article database, pull out all of the articles that are relevant, that are high scoring, and they're likely to be shared, and extract them into a format that you can then use to upload to a service like Buffer or Hootsuite or Agorapulse or any of these, any of the content sharing services. When you have these systems in place, content curation goes from 3 to 4 hours to 3 to 4 minutes, because at that point you can just do a final QA check on the export and say, I'm sure that article does mention artificial intelligence, but it's it's clearly something that's a little bit silly, so maybe that's not on brand. Or what tends to happen a lot with the stuff that I do is an awful lot of politics manages to creep its way in because people do talk about things like data analytics and stuff when it comes to who's running for office and or who current politicians are what the crazy things that they're doing in office. So more than anything, I have had to add in filters to remove certain articles to score them extra low if an article, for example, mentions a certain politician's name or a certain politician's tweets, to knock that stuff out, because that stuff I don't want to be sharing. I don't want to be using my valuable social channels to promote somebody else's thing. So that's the method. You have content sources that you can trust. You have a method for determining what content is relevant to your brand and likely to be shared, and then a way to summarize it quickly and load it up. That will drastically save you time. Again, 3 to 4 minutes, 3 to 4 hours becomes 3 to 4 minutes. So if you can do that, now there are services that do that. They are expensive, but there are services that do that for you. So that if you want to reap some cost savings in terms of opportunity costs, you can exchange the hard dollars you pay them for the soft dollars, the time that you save using those services. So if you want to go, I can't remember, there's like a dozen of them out there. Go check out like a G2 Crowd to see the ratings for these different services. So good question. If you have developers in-house, if you have software developers in-house and they have some spare bandwidth, or you can get yourself access to a sprint, consider outlining this, or feel free to show them this video, and they may be able to write you your own version of that software that follows those general basic requirements and outcomes, and it will save you and your company tremendous amounts of time and probably increase the amount of quality content that you share. I know certainly the performance of the content that I share has gotten much better over the years because I'm sharing stuff that I know is likely to be shared. And so it helps engage more. I even use that in my email newsletter, because if you click on it in social media, there's a pretty good chance you're going to click on it if it's in an email as well. So when I do my wrap-up in my weekly newsletter, all of those links are links that are topically relevant, but also well-performing. So, great question. As always, please leave your comments in the comments box below and subscribe to the YouTube channel and the newsletter. I'll talk to you soon.
Want help solving your company's data analytics and digital marketing problems? Visit trustinsights.ai today and let us know how we can help you.